So for our lesson today, we are looking at more problems that have radicals or square roots in the denominators. These two I just asked you to do as warm-ups because they are review. So Caden, what did we need to do to A? Perfect. Multiply numerator and denominator by root 7, which gives us 4 root 7 over a regular 7, and we no longer have a square root in the denominator. Okay, B is a little bit harder. What do we have to do to B, Kaylee, to get rid of square roots? So we're going to multiply numerator and denominator by the conjugate, which means change that plus or minus sign in the middle. And anything that has a plus or a minus, I put parentheses around to make it clear what I need to do. The top one, I'm just multiplying the 2 by the parentheses, but the bottom, I have to FOIL everything. So numerator, we get 4 root 6 minus 6. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Are we good with that? Denominator, 2 root 6 times 2 root 6, first times first. 2 times 2 is a 4. And root 6 is a regular 6. The O's and the I's cancel because these are conjugates. So then we just need to do minus, last times last. So minus 9. The 3 times the minus 3 gives us the minus 9. And so what is 24 minus 9, everyone? It's going to give us 15. So 4 root 6 minus 6 over 15. Do I have a GCF in the numerator? Yeah, it's all even, but does that let me cancel with anything in the denominator? So no point in factoring it out. That will be our final answer. So good job on those review ones. We're going to make it just a little bit harder with the ones we're about to do. So next one, instead of just a square root in the denominator, I'm going to have a regular number times a square root in the denominator. That regular number is not a problem at all. It's just the square root that's a problem. So I still am just going to multiply numerator and denominator by root 3. I don't have to do times 2 root 3 or anything, just the square root part. So Grazia, what does that give me in my numerator? So take the root 3 times the 5, the root 3 times the root 3 then gives me a plus a regular 3. Denominator, I have just the 1, 2 times root 3. So I have a 2 times a regular 3, which is a 6. Any GCFs in that? So can't simplify that further. We are finished. That was not very much harder, was it? Okay, this one isn't all that much harder, but instead of just a single term in the numerator like you had on the second warm-up problem, now we've got a plus or a minus sign in the numerator also. So I still am going to take a conjugate of the denominator. McKenna, what would be the conjugate of my denominator? So I still look at the denominator, change the plus or minus sign in the middle, multiply numerator and denominator by that, put parentheses around things to make it clear what gets multiplied by what. So we've got to FOIL both numerator and denominator. Denominator is going to be like what we just saw. O and I will cancel each other out. One will be a plus and one will be a minus. So if we take 2 times 2, we have 4. Last times last, I have minus times plus. 3 times 3 times root 3 times root 3. The 3 times 3 is going to be a 9. And the root 3 is a regular 3. So is everybody good with 4 minus 27 there? Or negative 23, which I'll worry about the negative sign in a little bit. Okay, numerator's the trickier part. We have to FOIL. First times first, everybody, 4 times 2. Then I'm going to do outside times outside. So 4 times 3 times root 3. So plus 12 root 3. inside, root 3 times 2, both are positive, so plus 2 root 3. And finally, last times last, plus times plus is plus. Root 3 times root 3. So I have a regular 3, and I have a root 3. So I have a regular 3 times another regular 3 to give me a plus 9. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Everybody with me on that numerator? Now we need to combine like terms. JC, can you put the like terms together in the numerator for me, please? Okay. Thumbs up, thumbs down from everybody. What do you think? Do I leave the minus in the denominator? So I am going to change that to a plus and change both of the signs in the numerator. So final answer is negative 17 minus 14 root 3 all over 23. Everybody good there? All right, one last example for today. Looks very similar to what we just did. Main difference is I've got this root 12 in there that isn't simplified. You could simplify it now, or you could go ahead and do the work and just make sure you simplify it before you finish at the very end. I'm going to choose to do it that way. Kaylee, tell me what will be my conjugate that I need to multiply numerator and denominator by. Okay, better put parentheses around everything that has a plus or minus to make it real obvious that I have to FOIL everything on this one. So that's what we start in on now. Numerator. So 2 root 12 times 2 root 3. 2 times 2 is a 4. Root 12 root 3 is root 36. Outsides. The 2 times the 3 become a plus 6. And the root 12 times the root 2 is a root 24. So a couple of roots I'm going to have to clean up before I'm done, but we'll worry about that in a little bit. Insides, negative 3 root 3 times 2 root 3. Negative times positive is minus. 3 times 2 is a 6. Root 3 is a regular 3. And last times last, negative times positive is a negative. The 3 times the 3 is a 9. And what's root 3 root 2? Root 6. So far, everybody good with that? Okay, now we need our denominator. It's at least going to be shorter because the O and the I, the middle ones, will cancel out. So 2 root 3 times 2 root 3, 2 times 2 is 4. Root 3 is a regular 3. O and I cancel. Last times last, negative times positive is negative. 3 times 3 is 9. Root 2 is a regular 2. So, Gabe, simplify my denominator for me. So 12 minus 18 is how much? Everybody comfortable with negative 6 down here in the denominator? Okay, now for the numerator. What is root 36, everyone? So that's just a 4 times a 6, which is a 24. Do I have any other terms that don't have square roots in them, Ella? So what do I get if I put those two together? 24 minus how much? Everybody good with 24 minus 18 is 6? Okay, now for my ones with square roots. Does root 24 totally go away? It's not a perfect square. Who can help me simplify root 24? Alex? So the 24 part, didn't mean that color, can't see that. So 24 is 4 times 6, so root 24 is root 4 root 6, but we also had that 6 out in front. So that's 6 times 2 times root 6, so plus 12 root 6. And then I have my minus 9 root 6. So what happens now when I put my roots together, Riley? So 6 plus 3 root 6 over negative 6. Is there still some simplifying I can do? Daniel, what's one thing I need to worry about with simplifying? So I can't leave the negative in the denominator, so I can change that to a plus, but if I change one minus sign, I have to change all of the plus and minus signs. Okay, we still aren't quite finished. What else can we do on this one, Amelia? So GCF of the 6, the 3, and the 6 would be a 3. So I'm going to factor a 3 out of that numerator times negative 2 minus root 6 over that positive 6. And the 3 over the 6 simplifies to 1 over 2. So final answer, minus 2 minus root 6 all over 2. Questions on that? So it's not a whole lot harder than what we've been doing, right? Six. Oh, what we did there was we said 4 times 6 was 24 minus 18 to get the 6. Thanks for asking on that. It took me a minute to look at it. I was like, wait a minute, why didn't I write down 24? Oh, yeah, we went ahead and put it together and talked through that. Any other questions? Right here, did you get 6 plus 3 root 6 over negative 6? Okay, go back to what we just talked about. 24 minus 18 is a positive 6. Anything else? All right, then let's work on homework.